Today's Miami Dolphins video is sponsored by Manscaped. Stay tuned for later in the video when I tell you about the best male grooming products on the market, brought to you by Manscaped. But first, let's get into this recap of another loss for the Miami Dolphins as they headed to northwest, well, just a little northwest, I should say, in Florida to Tampa to face off against the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I don't know if the defense made the trip. Looking at the score, 45-17. The Dolphins lose their fourth straight after winning in week one. I will say this, Jacoby Brissett didn't look bad, but when you look at the numbers compared to Tom Brady, who threw for 411 yards and 5 TDs against a secondary that early on in the year we were talking about as, if not the best secondary in the NFL, at least top 5, absolutely scorched them and looked like they were playing a JV team out there at times defensively. But let me hear it before we get into nuts and bolts of this recap. What is your one-word reaction to the Dolphins' 45-17 loss versus the Buccaneers? Again, not great when you look at the score, right? I mean, 45-17, you're playing the Super Bowl champs in this one. And for me, when it comes down to it, I mean, it's one of those deals where I know you're going to shoot the messenger here. I know you are, but I'm hopeful from what I saw from the offense, right? Early on in the second half, you got to give credit to the Bucs. They made adjustments, but they finally got Myles Gaskin involved, which we haven't really heard his name for the past, 3 weeks? You have to give credit a little bit to Jacoby Brissett for actually utilizing the weapons at his disposal, especially without Will Fuller and Devontae Parker. Jacoby Brissett had solid numbers today, especially with a rookie left tackle and Liam Eichenberg getting a start there. They moved Austin Jackson inward to left guard, and 27 for 39, 275, 2 touchdowns, and an interception that really should have been caught by Jalen Waddle, but instead went off of his hands, and the rookie wide receiver led to an interception for Jacoby Brissett. But overall, I thought Jacoby Brissett looked pretty good offensively, and I get it, this might be his last start as Tua Tagovailoa is supposedly coming back next week. We'll keep an eye on that, and you can subscribe to the channel to stay in the know about his injury update status. But let me know this. Drop a like if you think the Dolphins' offense need to change in terms of what they put forward today. Is this what they need to do moving forward? Getting the ball in their playmakers' hands early and often, specifically Myles Gaskin, who, you know, it was frustrating these past 3 weeks trying to figure out this run game. And the run game wasn't great today, but you can attribute that to really the Bucs having the best run defense in the NFL. You got Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh, probably the best linebacking duo in the NFL as well. And I didn't even mention Shaq Barrett yet. But overall, we saw change versus the Buccaneers, right? And that's something that we have been just begging for as Dolphins fans for the past 3 weeks, almost a month. You finally saw a little bit of change from the offensive coordinators. Maybe it was just Jacoby Brissett deciding, hell, I'm going to do what I need to do to try and succeed. Now, the outcome isn't what you wanted, and you can put a lot of blame on the defense. Again, 45 points and making it look like you had a JV defense out there. But overall, I thought there were signs of change, and that's exactly what you wanted from the Dolphins offense. Speaking of change, Manscaped can change your life right here. The Lawnmower 4.0, I'm telling you what, guys, this is the best men's grooming product on the market right now. And I'm talking from personal experience here. Listen, the girlfriend, we like what we're doing here with this Manscaped product, the Lawnmower 4.0. Listen, and we got it for 20% off, and you can too over at manscaped.com. All you got to do is use the promo code DOLPHINS, and really, it's cuffing season, right? It's starting to be cuffing season. It's getting cold outside. I get it. You might want to, get a little extra hair around there. Don't. The ladies don't like that, all right? We're talking from experience here. Clean yourself up, and Manscaped can help you do that. Go to manscaped.com and use the promo code DOLPHINS to get 20% off of your order. And the best part about it, you get free shipping as well. Again, go get the Lawnmower 4.0, not only for your significant other, but maybe your dad. Send a message. Send some messages to your family members. Hey, clean it up. You're getting a little ratchet out there. Manscaped can help you do that. Go to manscaped.com and save 20% plus get free shipping when you use the promo code DOLPHINS. I mentioned it. The Dolphins defense, abysmal today. 558 total yards given up to the GOAT, Tom Brady. 437 yards passing, 121 yards rushing, and they allowed 45 points. There is a positive, though. I'm really liking what I see from Jaelan Phillips. I was skeptical about his injury history. Remember, in college, he took some time off, UCLA, and then he transferred to Miami. Didn't have to move too far after getting drafted by the Dolphins in last year's draft. But he's been special so far. He is really making an impact opposite of Agba. And I know today wasn't that really just wow factor, right? Because Tampa Bay realized early on after he got a sack, hey, we should probably double team this guy. And that's exactly what they did. But overall, when you have a rookie getting double teamed by arguably the best team in the NFL, you take that as respect as you are on the right path, and I think Jaelan Phillips is. He just continues to impress me on the outside. He really does. Whether his hand's in the ground, he's upright, dropping back into coverage, he can really do it all, and he's becoming a really special pass rusher on the outside opposite of Emmanuel Ogbah, and that's something that you need, especially when the secondary is playing as bad as they are right now, considering you gave up 35 to Buffalo in Week 2 and then 45 to Tampa. Something's got to change in that secondary, but overall, I really like what Jaelan Phillips is doing, and just changing that will help the offense as well in terms of getting pressure on the quarterback defensively, will give you more opportunities on the offensive side of the football for the Miami Dolphins. And speaking of the offense, I want you to grade the Dolphins offense for me on this one because it's interesting. I was getting a little slack in the office before we went and recorded this video in the sense of, RC, how can you be hopeful about this Dolphins offense? Producer Jeff right now is looking at me like, RC, you're an idiot. These people are going to roast you in the comments. I'm used to it at this point. I want to hear your grade for the Dolphins offense in this one versus Tampa, just because I think there was some positives. And maybe you get Tua back next week. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing after what we saw the first really game and 2 series from Tua, but let me know down in the comments. I probably would say a C+ in this one. I just think your defense probably got an F. You can't do anything when your defense gets an F. Speaking of the Dolphins offense, let's take a look at some of their primary playmakers in this one. Preston Williams is the name that stands out as he came back in this one. It was activated as Devontae Parker was inactive. Jalen Waddle with 6 targets, 2 receptions and 31 yards. And then Mike Gesicki also was a factor, 7 targets for 4 catches and 43 yards. None of them recorded a touchdown. I think we've been harping on this for weeks, right? You spend a top 10 pick on a guy, he has to be more involved in the offense. Jalen Waddle needs to get the ball in his hands more. I like 6 targets. Why not make it 10? Who else are you going to throw to in this offense outside of Mike Gesicki, right? I mean, you need to get the ball in your playmakers' hands, give your backup quarterback a chance to succeed. And for the most part, they tried that, but I thought they went away from it at times just for too long of stretches. Miami did. You have to find ways to get Jalen Waddle into space, whether that's, a reverse sweep, whatever you want. Use gimmick plays if you have to. Get the ball in his hands and put him in situations to succeed because he's too talented not to have the ball in his hands at least 10 times a game. Speaking of being too talented and not getting enough opportunities, that changed this week because Myles Gaskin had 15 touches. It's about damn time. 5 carries for 25 yards, 5 yards a carry. You'll take that. Tampa has the best run defense in the NFL. Not much you can do there, right? But 10 catches for 74 yards and 2 tutties? Yeah, I hope you played him in PPR leagues right there, folks, because it was good to see him used early. Something we haven't seen from Myles Gaskin in a long time, right? And mostly that's because of really how this offense has been scripted out and really what they want to do, which was just absolutely ridiculous in my opinion, right? You need to get the ball in Myles Gaskin's hands. He's too talented not to have the ball in his hands. Just he have the ball in his hands 3 times in week 4? Just unbelievable. 15 times should be a minimum for Myles Gaskin in this one because looking at these offensive stats, why the hell are you not giving him the ball more, right? It's weird to say this, and it's probably not an ideal thing to say in terms of just the way the NFL is going and what you want your offense to be, but 301 total yards, I was actually happy to see it just because we've seen some stinkers left up there by the Dolphins these past couple weeks in terms of week number 2 standing out. They played okay against the Raiders, and then don't get me started on the Colts where everything seemed to be in garbage time. Overall, this offense looked really good in the first half, I thought. Now, they only scored 10 points. I get it. Tampa's going to Tampa, and they're going to be really good. But Jacoby Brissett, in my opinion, I thought looked pretty solid in the sense that you look at what he did in terms of his numbers, 2 TDs, 275 yards, and had a solid completion percentage as well. Maybe this is his last start for Miami this year, as Tua can be activated from the 3-week IR going into London. Maybe he gets one more start against Jacksonville. Who knows? I think Tua is most likely going to start in that game. But overall, I mean, you have to like the adjustments you saw from Jacoby. And also at the same time, he had no favors coming from his offensive line. When you have two guys on the left side, especially in Jackson, who continues to add to his total in terms of leading the leagues in pressure allowed, woof. You have Eichenberg as well, who's a rookie. He really had to navigate the pocket on a bad hamstring nonetheless and really try and bring the Dolphins downfield. And he did that early on in the first half and one drive in the second half as well. But his offensive line did him no favors. I thought just in terms of going out there and making the right reads, Jacoby looked really solid in my opinion. Not where I think Tua shouldn't be the starter when he comes back, but I thought the offense actually had a decent day. The defense just, let's not talk about that right now. But just tell me real quick. What is your confidence level in the Dolphins offense? Scale it 1 to 10 for me, right? Let's presume that Tua Tagovailoa is back for week 6 when you answer this. I want you to answer, what is your confidence level in the Dolphins offense, scale of 1 to 10, with Tua Tagovailoa back at the helm as he could be in week 6 against the Jacksonville Jaguars in London. Was that a good English accent? I got a really good thumbs up, and then I got the boss people over there making fun of me. I'm going to take credit from Jeff on this one because he's running the show and things can go south if he doesn't hit the right buttons. Again, Jacksonville, that'll be on the slate next week. Hopefully that's a win. This week, however, 45-17, a loss to Tampa, 4 straight for the Dolphins in the loss department. They moved to 1-4 and are at the bottom of the AFC East with the measly New York Jets. And I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Jacoby Brissett in the offense looked okay. The defense, however, probably not ideal to give up 400 yards to the GOAT. We'll keep you up to date all season long and all week long with overreactions. We'll have plenty of videos coming out this week leading up to week 6 and when the Miami Dolphins head over the pond to London to face off against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, 45-17. The Buccaneers beat the Dolphins, and the Dolphins move to 1-4 on the season.